Hey everybody, welcome to the fifth episode of Peep Show Talk. And today we're not doing it by Zoom. We actually have an in-studio guest here. Everybody say hello to Zane Mohler.
Hello, everybody.
And today we're gonna talk hand carts. So I'm gonna give my standard disclaimer here. Anybody, I'm not trying to favor one vendor over the other. If anybody wants to come on the show, just go ahead and let me know, and I'll get you on the schedule. And also, I'm not really endorsing anything, although generally I talk to people who I know or their products I use. So Zane was traveling from Oklahoma to Pennsylvania.
Lawton, Oklahoma to Pennsylvania to see Ed Snyder.
And if you're a hand cart enthusiast, you know exactly who that is. For those of you who don't know who Ed Snyder is, Ed Snyder's the reason most of us have been able to restore our hand carts for about the past, 30 years?
He's been doing it for 25 and a half years.
Yeah, he's the guy that makes a lot of the unique cast parts for hand carts. And Ed's getting up there in age. You know how old he is now?
He's in his late 60s, but he is not feeling very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe he may have cancer that's gone a little bit terminal.
Okay, well, I hate to hear that because he's such a good guy.
He is wonderful, wonderful individual.
Mm-hmm. And I know I've restored two hand carts using his parts. And the good news is Zane and another guy are going to take over that business.
Luke Sparks and myself decided we'll purchase Ed's Handcart Parts to carry on manufacturing and fabricating the parts needed to restore them.
That's awesome. So again, Zane was just passing through, going from Oklahoma to Pennsylvania. So I decided to swing by, check out some of my carts, and we've been talking hand carts. And we were looking at my here. We're looking at my original drawbar here, which is a little bit different. This is if you've never seen the original. This is original drawbar, but also notice it's hollow, which is a separate design that I don't think you've ever seen before.
I've not seen those. I've read it in the parts manual as having two rivets, a spring, and the detent or the pin.
So he took a bunch of photos of this, and he may be able to add that on his product inventory. So okay, so you're working with Ed, and you're looking to take over the business. So kind of talk through that whole process and where it's at and where it's going to go.
Right now, last month I picked up all of the machining tools, the jigs, the blueprints, and everything for fabricating and machining these parts. I purchased the business back in July and told them, can you have your foundry do a pour so we can purchase that and get started? Well, when we said we're going to start making parts, and Ed was telling them Zane and Luke are going to be doing parts, I was being contacted. So we depleted our supply.
Right. Well, it makes sense to get a little bit of inventory so you can at least get your own foundry lined up and things like that. So, and if you guys aren't familiar, I make and sell these, which are crossbars, and there's a local fabrication company that makes these for me that I happen to know through my work, and I listed these for sale, and I had several people from Europe contact me because they thought they were a different part, and they thought they were maybe the rather the crossbar. They thought it was maybe the under part that connects the axle to the bottom of the cart, and or the drawbar or something like that. And I had 3 different people contact me, so there's definitely demand. I know I've got one cart that I need stuff for, and so how long do you think it's going to be before you're able to get up and running?
We're machining parts right now. I'm working on drawbars because that's we have the most of.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 16 casts, I've already uh, have 5 completed machining.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to add the handles, the chain, and I got a new box of chain because I didn't have any chain for us to make these parts. We have to find the vendors that he used, and we're just now, we have the supplies, and we're going to try to start assembling as soon as I get back from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I kind of know what that's like because I had John Duckett made me some covers, hand carts, the M500 covers, and I needed the little snap hooks. So I found myself, for like 2 days looking through different parts catalogs, and I finally found a company that sells them, although they weren't blackened. Then I have to sand them and strip them down. And
if they're zinc coated, put them in vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
It takes that zinc coating off, and then you can black them with bluing or whatever bluing stuff you're going to use.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what parts do you think that your guys are going to be making? Like what's in the line for you guys?
Right now, we have a limited number of junction blocks. We have 3 of them. 2 of them are already spoken for. We have one.
Can I speak for the one?
No, you are spoken for.
Oh, okay, I'm one of
You
the
have
2.
one junction block and you have one lunette.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm not getting anything for free for this, and I'm not getting a discount or anything like that. That's I forgot that.
Yeah.
Well, this is something we talked about sometime.
Yeah, I've already have people in Europe, all over the states, ordering these parts, and we're just now getting our feet to the road and getting them produced.
Fantastic. Yeah, what was it? I'm trying to think. There was something that I had come across, and oh, I know what it was. When I was going my Slack Girl windshield, there was a guy who had an original Slack Girl windshield for, and like I didn't want to say anything to anybody about it other than I knew of a guy who had one because I knew people would be blowing me up and they'd start blowing him up. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the parts that I know that Ed made, let's just kind of go through them and see if you guys are doing them. You're doing the junction block that goes underneath.
Yes.
The lunette.
The lunette.
The drawbar storage.
We have
pin or
the
bracket.
L bracket.
The L bracket.
We have the drawbar yoke.
Okay.
And we're going to be putting it all together. We already have the pipes cut and everything.
So you can just order a complete drawbar when you guys are ready. That's awesome. Yes. And then Ed also made, let's see, is there anything else on the standard cart?
The machine gun brackets.
That's where I was going to go next.
Yes. I do have 3 sets of machine gun brackets. We're still looking for a few parts to assemble them and doing the machining on those and getting those produced. We did find a foundry that's going to produce all of our parts. We need an original loose junction block and a loose lunette. And what I'm going to do is mold them and resin cast of them, give them to the foundry, and he's going to make me some match plates.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And that will bring the price considerably down on all those parts.
So what kind of price range are you talking about? Have you guys yet? Or
we're gonna keep the prices the same as what Ed was making and selling them as. We have his price list and his prices, and we're going to carry that on.
That's great.
The only way it'll change is if the cost of getting the pieces casted, if aluminum goes way up, we're going to have to raise the price a little bit.
Right. Wow.
But the guy said if we can make the match plates for the lunette and the junction block, we can bring the prices down considerably doing that rather than doing them at a single cast.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's great. And I would think with, I mean, Ed started producing these 25 years ago. So, the manufacturing techniques he was using from that time. It's kind of like MD1 stuff is produced, from the 1960s type manufacturing techniques, and the stuff coming from SGI from India is all CNC machine and things like that. So I think at some point there would be, make it a lot easier to make some of those things. So we're also just talking hand carts in general. And so we're looking at my 3 John Woods that I have. One's just on a shelf. The one that I did in the video is restored, and then there's my original one. And you've got a few hand carts yourself, don't you?
I have 3 right now. I have 2 that are restored, and I have 1 in original condition. And I would like to not take the panel or the junction block off and,
right,
break rivets or cut rivets or drill them or anything like that.
That makes sense. Especially if you got a really good one. So.
Yeah, it's good and straight. I do have 1 junction block that we're trying to get off the tongue, and it's not easy.
How much stuff did Ed produce over the course of a year, or say? Did he give you any kind of an idea about, what kind of demand there is for these products, these items?
Not really a big number per se. He says once every 2 years there's a person in Europe that will order 12 of the drawbars.
Mm-hmm.
So he said it's coming on that 2 years that you're going to need 12 drawbars to send to Europe. Well, I don't have that because I depleted my supply.
Right. So the other thing that we just talking is I'm the moderator of the Facebook World War II Handcart Roundup. And then unbeknownst to me, there's another Facebook group which he's the moderator of, which is the
M3A4 hand carts, or World War II hand carts.
Right. So right now, if a bomb went off in this garage, it would completely take out the admin staff, both World War II handcart groups. So I think we're okay though. So anyway, anything else you want to add? How do people get in touch with you? Are you guys going to get a website? Again, understand these guys are just getting up and running, so this is a little bit before full production, but
you could message me through the Handcart Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Both of them.
Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on yours. I watch yours. I like a lot of your different pictures.
You got to add me to yours because I didn't, like I say, I didn't even know anything about it. So, my group's been going crazy with this, with like all these Facebook group ads. I think I've added probably 100 people in the last month, 2 months. Like every time I log in, there's like 8 or 10, 12 new people on there. And so far now, I run my group with an iron fist. Like if you post anything on there not about about hand carts, like you're gone. And I think that's the best way to keep it pure because there's one Facebook group that I'm on, a local buy-sell group. There's constantly people saying, "Hey, if you want $8,500 EBG cards and stuff," and of course I always comment, that the Vice President Agnew cut the funding for it, or the Andrew Jackson, cut the money for that. But so anyway, I know with my group that I keep pretty tight rein on it. But it's the World War II Handcart Roundup, and yours is the M3A4
World War II hand carts.
Sounds good. And
the They have our email address on there,
Mm-hmm.
and you can catch us through email or through the messenger on there.
So it's you and then also
Luke
Luke Sparks. Both you guys are in Oklahoma?
Both of us are in Oklahoma, Lawton, Fort Sill area,
Okay, great.
and
And you might tell people what you do because I think you have a pretty interesting career
oh, yeah. I
on the
have the
side.
dream job of all jobs.
Yeah.
Exhibit specialist for the U.S. Army Artillery Museum.
Mm-hmm.
I get to I restore stuff from Revolutionary War all the way up to present day.
And someone else pays for it. That's the best part of it, I think.
Well,
Sort of.
government funding is real low and stuff, so
Right, right.
we have to repurpose
Mm-hmm.
and do a lot of that for our restoration.
That sounds like a fun job.
It is.
Although I think after a while you get kind of tired of it, kind of like that
Well, not really, because every day is different.
makes sense. And my guess is that the stuff that you do at home, because you've got a number of vehicles, that the stuff you do at home carries over to what you do at work, and what you do at work carries over. So you really got skill for both.
And that's how I got into the World War II stuff is
Mm-hmm.
I was at the 50th anniversary of Normandy in Normandy Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Our unit was deployed there for 2.5 months on the beach and did the National Cemetery.
Okay,
And
yeah, yeah. I was there for the 60s,
okay.
so yeah.
And then I got a Jeep ride, fell in love with the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
I retired out of the Army, and the wife says, "You need to get yourself a project."
Mm-hmm.
I knew exactly what I wanted.
What'd you do in the Army?
I was a rocket artilleryman,
Awesome. Which system? MLRS?
MLRS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. That's the big gun on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Hey, when you absolutely positively need to destroy a grid square, you call that guy, right? Okay,
Yep.
you also have some vehicles.
I have a Jeep, 44 wheelies, a WC4 weapons carrier, two WC9 weapon carrier, bicycles, three hand carts, picking up my fourth, and a scooter,
Awesome.
a World War II airborne scooter.
Yeah, I don't know if you're watching Patrick Tipton's channel, but they're working on uh, Nolan's airborne scooter, and they've put a new floor in it. So, although I think the one you're getting is probably.
It's restored, it's drivable, and I'm
Mhm.
going to ride it a lot.
Well, actually, I've got an article right now with Army Motors. With the editor David Doyle that I've entitled "Unintended Intercourse," and it talks about the connection between the airborne scooter and the cart, which I, which I, my thesis is that the scooter was built to go with the cart, but the cart was not built to go with the scooter.
Yeah.
And and they probably weren't used a whole lot together, not as much as people do them now. That's my own personal opinion.
Yeah, because most of the time you see stuff coming off landing crafts,
Mm-hmm.
you have soldiers towing
Right.
the trailer.
Well, and another part of my thought process with this is that the airborne scooter was really just a poor man's motorcycle used for
Yes.
messengers to run around and why would they be pulling a trailer
Yes.
with it? And it's not exactly the Cushman handcart is not exactly well equipped to pull a trailer anyway. It's just got like a little stud in the back, and it doesn't have a lot.
No.
But the purpose of a handcart is logistics.
Yeah.
And the purpose of a scooter is reconnaissance or messaging or things like that. So they're just opposite missions when they're on the battlefield. At least
Yes.
that's my take. So anyway, that's why I titled it "Unintended Intercourse." So anyway, hey, we talked about intercourse on this podcast today. So anything else you want to add before you head back out to go to PA?
Oh, I've pretty much covered about everything that we needed to.
Great. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. It's a pleasure to meet another guy
Oh, yeah.
into this stuff. And, thanks for joining in, and I will see you on the next one.